Hello and welcome to this week's Mystic Message. This week's message kind of piggybacks off of some of the themes that we've already heard in the, you know, past few weeks. But it's very much around the purpose of our human incarnation, why we're here, why we chose to come here as souls, and how that directly correlates to our ability and capacity to connect to these higher realms. So, if you're someone who wants to connect with their spirit guides, wants to connect with their higher self, wants to connect and anchor in energy from these higher realms, angelic realms, universal energy, source, God, whatever term that you like to use, it all directly ties to our human experiences. And that is what this message is about. So, the way that this message came through for me was the spiral. So the spiral is a symbol that we can interpret in different ways. How I interpret it and how, what it means for me is, you know, in contrast to a circle. So a circle, it goes and it goes, and when it comes right back to where it began, it has the opportunity to either be a circle and keep going on that same path, that same trajectory, or it does not meet right where you are. It kind of shifts beyond and becomes the spiral. And so you kind of meet back up with similar themes, but through a different perspective, through a different lens, through a different experience. You're kind of building and you're evolving. So the spiral uh, is the opposite essentially of the circle in this kind of metaphorical framework. The circle is repeating patterns. The circle is karmic patterns. It's repeating the same. The spiral is growth. It is evolution. It is primarily through our experiences here on earth, and it is the learning, right? As a soul, if you believe, which what I believe that we, fractaled off from source, and we are here to have these different experiences, to grow as a soul, to learn, to have different experiences. We're not here to just kind of continue repeating the same. It's to have different experiences in lower dimensions and higher dimensions in this body, in that body, because different worlds, different dimensions, different bodies, vehicles all offer different perspectives and experiences that you can't experience somewhere else. For example, an angelic being doesn't know what it feels like to be physical. They also don't really understand what darkness feels like. And as a human, we have different experiences that are offered to us because of the way our third dimensional reality is set up. And so back to this idea of the spiral. So this is what the visual of this message came through as. Um, as we have our human experiences, our traumas, and all of that kind of stuff, it kind of manifests as this downward spiral, right? Downward representing earth, not vibrational downward. It's going deeper and deeper into the earthly experience, the experience of being here connected to our planetary body, that is Mother Gaia, and these physical human bodies in the third dimension in our current matrix system. And so as the spiral goes downward, it simultaneously goes upwards. And so, as we grow and learn through our human experiences, traumas, lessons, challenges, love, all the good and the bad, right? All of those experiences, as the spiral goes down, as far down as it goes, it also begins to go up. So for every inch down it goes up an inch. And the upward represents the evolution of our soul. So our soul is evolving simultaneously as we're having these human experiences and evolving as a human being as well. It's a mirror for each other. And so this is kind of the visual. Oh, that's awfully bright. This is kind of the visual. As it goes down, it also goes up. And once you get to the point of experiencing the human lessons, what you came here to this planet to experience, which has very specific things that we can learn here. You reach that upward, and that offers, it's that remembering, it's the homecoming, it's once you get to that place, you've mastered the human experience. You've achieved mastery, not mastery completely as a soul, but you've achieved mastery of the human experience. This is, what I was told is the experience of an ascended master. They experienced and they learned all of these big components of our human reality and third dimensional matrix system, and that brought them back home to their souls where they remember, they know why they came here. And this message is coming up because a lot of people who are listening to this right now are here very close to achieving this human level mastery. And it's also a reminder that this is why, a part of why our healing journey, this downward spiral, because it's all through the heal, right? We heal through these experiences, through, the evolution of our soul comes through challenges, through overcoming things and having different experiences and feeling different things. And many people want to connect to spirit. They want to connect to their higher self. They want to connect to their spirit guides. They want to connect to their angelic realm, source, God, whatever phrase they want to use. But that upward trajectory is tied to the downward trajectory. And the downward, again, being the physical, the human, the experiences that we're here to have. And this is a general statement. There might be outliers to this general statement, right? There are some people who are brand new and they're very, very connected and their path is a little bit different. But I'm talking those of us who have been coming to Earth, that this is not our first rodeo. We have human karmic patterns to heal. We have ancestral baggage to heal. We're here doing the work and we're making big shifts. And the big lesson, so this is the kind of final part of this message, is what are the big components of the human physical reality that we are here to learn? What is unique? Why did you come to planet Earth? What lessons did you come? They fall into these categories. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe all three. Probably all three. The first one is the emotional output. Not all realms have the ability to feel the amount of emotion and embody the amount of emotion and therefore alchemize the amount of emotion that we have here. We have extremes. We have a lot of extreme. Again, angelic beings don't understand grief. Other realms maybe don't understand grief or fear in the way that we can experience it here. And so our ability to navigate the emotional waters is part of why we came here. So if you resist emotion, and you feel uncomfortable with emotion, you might be here that might be your life lesson here this go around to experience the ocean of emotion and know and traverse it. It's wading through it and surviving it and understanding what that feels like because there is an amount of alchemy that comes through emotional traversing of it and the ability to receive it and to output it. And so emotional output is a big category. Disconnection. That is a big one. Not all realms that you might, incarnate into are you going to forget who you are. That you're going to forget where you came from, that you're going to forget why you're here, that you're going to forget that you're eternal, that you're going to forget that you're here to learn things, that you're going to forget that you came here to experience certain things. And so the fact that we forget allows for experiences that would never be able to take place if we didn't forget. And so the forgetting and that kind of disconnect, right? The disconnect from our higher self. If we were so connected to our higher self from birth and we never wavered, we wouldn't be able to experience all of these things. There'd be nothing to fear. There'd be nothing to really grieve over because we would know that everything's eternal and we wouldn't be able to experience those things. And so the disconnection is a huge part of why we came here. And then the last kind of top category, and each of these could be like a whole workshop. We could go so deep into each of these themes. But the last one is polarity. And polarity, in the way that it's presented to me, is duality, which is opposing energies, light, dark, masculine, feminine, uh, connecting higher, connecting lower. It's these kind of opposites. That is duality. That is the nature of our universe. We're here to experience duality. But polarity is when you take duality and you bring it into a lower dimensional reality, like our third dimension that we're here in right now, and we pit it against each other. We don't accept that both are valid, both are acceptable, that we can have and experience both. We think one is right or wrong. So we find ourselves on one side and we demonize the other side, or we say, I'm right and you're wrong, and vice versa, right? We see it all around us. We see it in gender things, we see it in politics, we see it in the spiritual community, light and dark, all these different things. So it's taking duality and making them kind of fight each other. That's polarity. And that is something, in these higher realms, once you kind of see it from an objective place, you understand light and dark exist to coexist and balance each other. The masculine and feminine exist to balance each other. All of these things exist to show us different things, but they're equally valid. Even darkness. Darkness is totally valid. And so emotional output, disconnection, and polarity, those are your big themes. So if you see any of those showing up in your life, this is your call. That is what you're here to embody, to feel deeply and work through the challenges relating to it in this incarnation. And as you do that, your spiral goes downwards and your spiral goes upwards, and you find yourself connecting to the higher realms more easily. And you find yourself getting closer and closer and closer to this mastery. And so, yeah, this is just, it's a beautiful message of why we're here, how to achieve what we're looking to achieve, which is just really through experience and learning, right? As you experience and you learn, everything just kind of falls into place. We're not necessarily here to do all the things, right? There are some things, but that's a whole nother conversation. So I hope that this hits you in the way that it needed to hit you. I hope it reminds you that you're here to have these experiences. You're here to feel these different emotions, and you're here to evolve through all of this. And that is when you find the homecoming and you remember who you are and you find yourself so embodied as your higher self. And that is the journey of a master. And you're on the journey. Mwah.